YouTube, it's Becky from Becky Writes, this is Becky Reads, and this is the First Date book tag. The First Date book tag was originally created by Kate's Book Date, and I will link her original video and all of the questions down below. Now, I wasn't tagged by anybody, at least not that I know of, but I just thought this was a really cute, fun tag, so I wanted to do it. Alright, the first question is the awkward first date. What is a book where something felt off? It wasn't bad, but it just wasn't spectacular. And the book that comes to mind for me is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I enjoyed this. I didn't think it was a bad book, but there was just something about it that didn't quite catch my attention. I wasn't completely drawn into the world. I think it might have been me. Basically, I thought this was going to be a 5-star read, and it wasn't, and so I just felt like some of the spark was missing, even though I did enjoy it. I don't think this is a bad book. It just wasn't a fantastic book for me. Question number 2, The Cheap First Date. What is a book that turned out less than you expected? Well, if you've seen my video on books that disappointed me, this should come as no surprise, and that is Wayfarer by Alexandra Bracken. I wanted to love this. I loved Passenger. This book had really high expectations that were super unmet. Question number 3, The Well-Prepared First Date. What is a book that exceeded your expectations? This is an oldie but a goodie, but I'm going to choose The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. I read this years ago, and it was recommended to me by some friends, so I picked it up on a whim, and I fell in love with it. This is the story of a boy who grows up on a Native American reservation and just doesn't really fit in there and decides to go to an off-res white majority school, and his just experience of life on the res, life in a white school. I loved it. I laughed. I cried. This book is fantastic, and I don't really read contemporary young adult stuff, so this is not my genre, but this was so well done and so real and poignant but hilarious. It was everything. This was a great book. Question number 4, Hot But Dumb. What is a book that is pretty on the outside but not so hot on the inside? I'm gonna go with The Rose and the Dagger by Renee Audier. Those of you who've been around know how I feel about this one. Beautiful book. I think this is aesthetically very pleasing. Like, look at that in-page. That's gorgeous. But the story in here was just not very well done. I did not like it. I was pretty disappointed. So it's pretty, but it's not, no. Question number 5, The Blind Date. What is a book that you picked up without knowing anything about it? For me, that was Some Kind of Happiness by Claire Legrand. I was in my favorite bookstore back in Atlanta, and I saw this on a table display, and I thought it was beautiful, and I was like, okay, I will read this book, and I ended up really, really loving it. Question number 6, Speed Dating. I've never actually done speed dating. Have any of you guys done speed dating? What is a book that you read super fast? Winter by Marissa Mayer. I read this in one day. This is over 800 pages, and I read it in less than 24 hours. I loved this book. I dove into it. I really enjoyed it, and I just basically inhale read it. All I did all day pretty much was read this book, and it was awesome, and I loved it. It was a great conclusion. Fabulous. Question number 7, The Rebound. What is a book that you read too close to a book hangover, so it kind of ruined the experience for you? I don't really have one that fits that description, so I'm gonna talk about a book where I took a break in the middle of reading the book, and it ruined the experience for me. And that is The Girl Who Fell Beneath Fairyland and Led the Revels There by Catherine Valente. I really enjoyed the first half of this book, and then I sort of took a break in the middle and just did not get back into the world, did not get back into the writing style, did not get back into the story, and so taking that break really, really ruined the reading experience of this for me. Question number 8, The Overenthusiastic First Date. What is a book that is just trying too hard? I'm gonna go with the entire Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. I just unhauled them a couple of weeks ago, and they're just full of so much angst, and they're trying so hard. I was not there for that. And question number 9, The Perfect First Date. What is a book that did everything right for you? I couldn't decide on just one, so I picked 2 standalones, and they are Jane Steele by Lindsay Fay. I just read this and loved it. I've done a spoiler-free review, so I'll make sure that's linked below. And Uprooted by Naomi Novik. I read this last year, and I'll probably do a reread of this pretty soon. I just love everything about it. This is a fairy tale, not one that we've ever heard, but sort of a new fairy tale, and I really appreciated it. Not everybody does, but I loved the magic system, and I loved the big bad, and I just loved everything about it. And Jane Steele is basically Jane Eyre, but a woman who murders people. How can I not love this? How could I not? And finally, question number 10, the humiliating first date. What is a book that you are embarrassed to admit you liked or you're embarrassed to read in public? I don't think I've read any books I would be embarrassed to say that I enjoyed, especially if I read them when I was younger. But I will say, I get kind of embarrassed when I read religious books in public. Like, imagine reading this one in public. I think that this one might embarrass me, so maybe one of my religious books, probably, maybe, I don't know. I don't really get that embarrassed with books. I don't read anything that I think is embarrassing. Like, I don't read erotica or certain kinds of romance. Maybe those might make me a little embarrassed. But yeah, probably my religious books, because you guys know I read a lot of those. Okay, there you have it, friends. That is my first date book tag. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now it's my turn to tag some folks. I'm gonna tag Sue and Meg in the restricted section. I don't know if you guys have done it. I don't think you have, and since you are like the goddesses of book tags, you have to do it. I'm also gonna tag Steve Donahue because I don't think he's done it, and he also is a master of book tags. And finally, I'm gonna tag Sylvia over at Wish Fulfillment. I don't think you've done this, Sylvia, and so if you would like to, I wanna give you a tag. Also, if you want to do it, feel like you can be tagged. I wasn't tagged and I did it anyway, so if you want to, you should just do it. Comment down below and let me know what your last first date was like. Mine was definitely awkward. The guy I went on a date with really loved basketball and also partied so much in college he's chosen to abstain from drinking for the rest of his life, and I was just like, that's not my life experience. I don't really watch sports ball, and also I didn't party at all in college, really. So that was awkward. Hope you guys are all doing well, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!